In the movie Hotel Rwanda, he alleges that he saved, over 2,000 people. He says with his own words, like, I saved, and his daughter pushes the same narrative to over 2,000 people. Well, it turns out, he says, I saved these people. And so these declassified documents came out from the National Archives in which a general from the UN peacekeepers, people are frustrated about this film. All around the world, they're like, these events are false. He did not save anyone at the Hotel Mille Collines. It was the UN peacekeepers and Congolese Brazzaville that were helping everyone and taking fire, and even one of the Congolese Brazzaville peacekeepers was blown up right in front of the hotel, and this man's taking all the credit. And so this general was
Dallaire.
So he's upset about this, and he tells, this is a quote from these declassified top secret documents were released by the U.S. National Archives in 2014 regarding the Rwandan conflict, the genocide against the Tutsi. And this is an interview with the director of the National Security Archives, Tom Blanton, and Lieutenant General Romeo Dallaire. He says, quote, I would like you to acknowledge the role played by those UNAMIR troops who stayed in Rwanda, including the troops from Congo Brazzaville, who were the ones who saved the people at the Hotel Mille Collines, not the hotel manager, Paul Rusesabagina.
Please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show.
And again, this is important in the report that I wrote because I had to understand the history of Paul Rusesabagina. Now, in the movie Hotel Rwanda, he alleges that he specifically alleges that he saved over 2,000 people.
Was that many?
That's what he says. He says with his own words, like, I saved, and his daughter pushes the same narrative to over 2,000 people. Well, it turns out, and he says, I saved all of these people in the hotel room. That's the quote from the Oh yeah, I'll have you read that.
I'm right on it.
Yeah. So he says, I saved these people. And so these declassified documents came out from the National Archives in which a general from the UNMAR, this is the United UN peacekeepers, said people are frustrated about this film. All around the world, they're like, these events are false. He did not save anyone at the Hotel Mille Collines. It was the UN peacekeepers and Congolese Brazzaville peacekeepers that were helping everyone and taking fire, and even one of the Congolese Brazzaville peacekeepers was blown up right in front of the hotel, and this man's taking all the credit, and so this general was
Dallaire.
Yes, General,
who's Nick Nolte in the movie.
Yes, exactly. So he's upset about this, and he tells, and if you want to read specifically,
you want me to read the Q&A back and forth? Is that what you want?
I think there's a part where it explicitly states that Rusesabagina did not, and it's probably in italics.
Here, you go take a look. Yeah, it's definitely in italics. But there's a back and forth because this guy was upset how he was portrayed in the movie. Because he was portrayed, I mean, he was in the right role. He was a UN peacekeeper, a general. He was from Canada, right? I think. And so he was upset, though, because the movie made him a part of this plot that, like, this Rusesabagina was the guy who was this benevolent hotel owner who saved all these people, when in reality, and I think you have it right there.
Yeah, right here. Yep. Yeah, so exactly. So this is a quote from these declassified top secret documents were released by the U.S. National Archives in 2014 regarding the Rwandan conflict, the genocide against the Tutsi, and these. This is an interview with the director of the National Security Archives, Tom Blanton, and Lieutenant General Romeo Dallaire. He was a force commander of the United Nations Assistance Mission for Rwanda. He says, quote, I would like you to acknowledge the role played by those UNAMIR troops who stayed in Rwanda, including the troops from Congo Brazzaville, who were the ones who saved the people at the Hotel Mille Collines, not the hotel manager, Paul Rusesabagina. I mean...
Now, is this one man's word against another man's, though?
No. This is the word of many other people. And so I thought, I need to actually have more sources. Like, I need to have more people to corroborate this. So journalists even are corroborating.
You found journalists?
Absolutely.
Who are they?
I can read this for you.
Please.
Right. So one of the journalists specifically says, let's see, this is Dallaire. Okay, so one of the journalists is writing in a communication.
A communication?
A communication wire back to the U.S. His name was redacted, but it does have the records in that can it literally says redacted in here. But okay, it says so the UNAMIR continued its efforts to evacuate people caught between the lines and evacuated 246 people from the Hotel Mille and 290 from the stadium in Kigali yesterday. The situation in Kigali was tense, and there was exchange of heavy artillery fire yesterday. Some government forces had been seen moving south, but there was no significant changes in positions. The militia was still maintaining roadblocks in the government-held areas. The RPF advances continued, and they had been reported as having taken control of the portions of important roads, and it gives the names of these roads. Otherwise, there was no change in positions. In other and parts of the country, says one UNAMIR officer, a Senegalese, had been killed today when the vehicle was traveling between the Hotel Mille and UNAMIR. UNAMIR headquarters was hit by a mortar bomb. So there were reporters that stayed at the Hotel Mille during all of this during these battles.
Can I put on a tinfoil hat for a minute?
Go for it.
Kagame is a bad guy, right? The guy who's running Rwanda. He's objectively not too good, right?
I would disagree with that.
You would?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Play with my hypothetical for a minute. Let's
go
say
for
he's
it.
not the best.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
Even if he actually was fine.
Sure.
Let's say that, he's the leader of a small country, there's financial interests or whatever.
Yeah.
And there are powerful structures around the world who have a financial interest in this guy having power.
Sure. Okay.
Could they be poisoning stuff like this, just like they poison other stuff? Meaning, could they be poisoning sources to say, oh, it was actually this way versus that way to, take the little poor hotel owner out?
Okay.
I'm just playing a hypothetical.
No. Yeah, the hypothetical, that's good though, right? It's good to think about, we have to think about the other side. Could this be, a ruse? Could this be just,
sure.
Right? The challenge is this, that I thought before I looked into this entire case and I started getting really deep into it, I had never seen the movie Hotel Rwanda before until I started researching this specific spyware case. I didn't know all of these. I didn't know the other side. I was thinking, wow, this is horrible. This man is a hero, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. That's what I thought.
Right. So I started asking scholars, like PhD scholars, genocide against the Tutsi scholars. I started asking academics for more information where I could find the other side, right? Were there people saying that he's not a hero? Because there was so much information that's saying he's a hero. What about the other side, that he's not a hero? And I found that, and I even interviewed people that were in the Hotel Mille, in which they said, this man that said saved us was charging us to stay there, or we were going to be kicked out of the hotel. And this was a common theme. And I thought, you know what? Maybe they're just trying to discredit him, right? Maybe because they're too close to the situation. Maybe they're, and they're Tutsi. Maybe they're trying to discredit him. Until I found an American journalist named Maggie Ruley, who went to Rwanda, went to Kigali.
When?
Later
okay.
on.
And this may all be right.
Yeah, and let's say in the late 2010s. Again, it's in the report, and Maggie decides to interview people because she also had heard these these stories of people that say that he was not a hero. Now, she went in and she started asking people, "What did he charge you?" And they said yes. And then she asked, well, what was your experience? So she didn't ask, did he charge you then? And so she started asking different questions. And the same narrative kept coming from the people that were there. He charged for people to stay in a hotel or they were going to be removed and sent out.
Yeah, so he's profiting.
And this was, and an interview, he was speaking in Kenya, Rwanda, which is the language of Rwanda, Kenya, Rwanda. He admits that, yes, he charged people. He admits it in an actual interview that he charged people. And these kinds of things are being pushed aside by the narrative, by the people that want to believe that he was a hero and that he saved these people. Imagine this. Imagine that these American soldiers, imagine American soldiers, if the audience can understand this. American soldiers are not given the credit for actually saving the lives of these 2,000 people, and they're actually saying, you know what, this guy that ran the Hilton actually saved it. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Did you shed blood?
It's a great movie.
It's a great fictional movie, dude. It's a great fictional movie. And to that end, he does admit in another interview in Kenya, Rwanda, that this movie is fiction. He does. He says it with his own words.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.